Many of you who have been here for a while, at least on this channel, you know a lot of the times if I'm showing off my matches or whatever, it's like we do it like kind of a esports style commentary. This will be slightly different, and so there's our build that we're going to be going with for our team comp. More so, there's our team comp that we're going to be going with for our builds. That's kind of what I meant. But you notice our defense, Waluigi, we actually just did a video on that, so if anybody is curious on the shortcomings, but mainly the advantages, of course, of that build, you should definitely check that out. I'm hoping to link that everywhere, but probably in the end screen. So this is a situation where we are going up against 3 people. So there are 2 people that are local with each other, 5 and 6, I guess, right? Or is that, oh no, it's 7 and 8. Okay, they're local with each other. And of course, that player number 5 is going to be just connecting with them online. And so that makes this a 1v3 where I am the one. And so right now you can see their advantage to that is going to obviously be that they're going to be able to bully me. They're going to be able to use their tackles to their advantage, especially when it comes to like a hyper strike, let's say, because like for instance, I have to do this all on my own. So you see, it's like a little bit rough to start out with, right? The main saving grace here is that I don't think they expected some of my just passing and stuff like this. You got to be a little bit slippery. You want to try to get in their heads. I always say though, if it's like a 1v2, you should still play those matches as long as you're at least somewhat competent at the game, you're decent. Because a lot of the people I've seen have just like been disconnecting, for example, when they are the 1 going up against 2. But it's very, very different when it's 3. And then when it's 4, I almost say to quit that just because of the lag. I so far have not had a 1v4. I guess I've only played 2 of those before, and they both were laggy AF. So again, it's like that's very much going to be the detriment. So we did not want them to get the strike orb. That's something that I knew going into this. I mean, I haven't really done a 1v3, but I've done 1v4s and all that. So like I said, they're going to really be able to guard themselves and coordinate that a lot better than a solo person can. So imagine if they had the hyper strike right there, like that strike orb would have been devastating for me. And so I was trying to release way too many items, and I did release the items, and I just kind of failed all around. Again, that's the confusion of having 3 of them, whereas I'm the 1. So I'm fortunate right here because they did use their items, and this is going to give me just kind of an opening. Obviously, I whiff on that opening, so clearly no good. But here's one strategy. You're going to see what I just did with Toad. Not going to actually result in a goal, but it's okay because what this is going to do is then we go back, and we're going to have a goal right here. So Yoshi, first goal of the match for the task force. That's our squad. But what I was going to say, essentially, this is a strategy I can talk about that can go either direction, okay? So some people can fool you with it, but essentially, say the other team just got the ball, so it's in their Boom Boom's possession. So when their Boom Boom specifically has it, by the way, another nice goal for us. So their Boom Boom has it. Sometimes you'll see and hear where they're going to throw it to. So every single character, when you start pressing that button like, hey, throw to me, by the way, did you see that dodge of the green shell right away? I'll talk about that too, maybe. They get the strike orb, unfortunately. We're going to have to really be on our toes, but yes, Mario calls for the ball with his name, like Yoshi will make his little trills and things. So if you hear the audio of the character calling for the ball from Boom Boom, that's a good indicator of who's asking for it, right? So like when you're on the other team, enemy Boom Boom's gonna throw it. So they use the bomb right there. They did go for the hyper strike, obviously leaving Toad wide open for me. Toad gonna be great for this because he's speedy. He doesn't need to get the full tackle to take him down. He just needs to bump him, and that's what we did. But the one thing to say left about that Boom Boom strategy is while you might be hearing and being like, oh, they're gonna throw it to Rosalina because she's making all the noise, well, they can also fool you and go the other way. So it's like while they're, even in a solo game, it's like they may be calling for one character and then switch and immediately throw to the other one. So it is a way actually if you want to employ that strategy, you can then flip them around, and get kind of in their head like that, right? So make it look like you're going to call to, say, Yoshi on my team, and then I switch to Rosalina and throw to her instead. That's the example. So this is not good, missing a tackle. Whenever there's a hyper strike, you do not want to do that, of course. So clearly, we are very lucky, I would say. And they do have a bomb right now, so we know that. It looks like this was the strategy. So what happened right there was obviously I went around. So it's very typical that bomb is going to go in front of them if they're not really aiming it correctly, especially if they just press it without a direction, like it's just going to go in front of them. So here we go. We can have that deflection shot. This is very nice. They had plenty of them swarming around there, and that is hard for humans to do, I would say. So that can come to your advantage as a 1v3 where you're the 3 because, you can get your humans positioned. You can get those human control players basically positioned where they should be to try to stop those. But also in the same respect, I feel like humans just do kind of have maybe a slightly harder chance to actually just tackle when they're like jumping up in the air so much. You imagine those lob passes and everyone jumping, like how hard that is, of course, for us humans to calculate as opposed to the AI controlled players and stuff. So they're obviously going to score. They needed to use hella items for that and do a lot. So I'm pretty proud of that right now. This is good, okay? So we're fine at 3-1. And again, maybe all those deflections, maybe all that stuff that I spoke of was the reason actually that the 1, me, has the advantage actually. I was just kind of able to outsmart the humans, and they didn't have any AI putting themselves in the right spot or anything like that. So here's a nice, beautiful cross. It's going to make an easy goal right there. Again, those 3 humans, the onus is really on them. So while they can have an advantage positioning somewhere, they can also have that disadvantage if they're all, say, downfield and we needed them back at our goal or something like that. You know, like that was very much an indicator, and sometimes that's going to happen when you've got 3 human-controlled players. If all 3 of them are confused, all 3 of them are making a mistake, there's no AI-controlled ones that are trying to get back into the right position for you to switch to. So notice, once again, I dodged that green shell the same exact way. If you see that the other team has a green shell at the starting whistle, if they have that green shell, it doesn't really hurt you to dodge, because even if they don't fire that green shell, it's not going to be bad. And one thing you can do is, of course, is that your dodges aren't just mapped to R, for instance. You know, you can use actually the right joystick, and so what I'll do is just right joystick to either direction, basically right from the whistle, and that's just great, because, like, again, if they don't shoot the shell, then you're fine. You just dodged for, like, nothing, and it's not really going to hurt you. Maybe they're going to try to even tackle you, too, and you could dodge that. So it's like, it's just kind of a win-win right there, especially if you see that they have the green shell. But we were victorious right here, 4-2, and I think that could have been a stomp if I was just playing one-on-one against any of those people. So it might have been like a certain skill deficit on their side. I'm not positive, but that's just what I imagine, at least. And so right now, if you've been following me on streams and things, the task force, we just kind of keep oscillating. Our squad usually gets to about spot 19 globally, and then we start fluctuating. So it's, you know, usually top 25, you could call us, and that's the task force. Be looking out for us. Click an end screen, and thanks for viewing.